Before the video begins, I want to thank you guys so much for all the support you've had on the channel. I've gotten over 60,000 views this month, and close to 2,000 new subscribers. And that is so insane. I can't even begin to explain how grateful I am for all of you. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and start the video. Sorry, this is a long one. This happened a few years ago, but I still think about it till this day. I was on holiday in a city on the other side of the country, celebrating my 21st birthday with my best friend. We were having an amazing night out with a few too many drinks, and ended up meeting two guys. Let's call them Andrew and Billy. They seemed like really cool guys, and we were really well getting to know them, and asked us to go back with them to their hotel room, and we said yes. Obviously a silly idea, but we were young and drunk. Things were great on the way back to the hotel room. We were all laughing and having a great time. When we got to the hotel room, there were two other men there as well. Let's call them Ricky and JD, who were at least 10 to 15 years older than us. They gave us creepy vibes, but we brushed it off. We asked Andrew and Billy who these guys were, and they said they were colleagues as they were in the city for work, and their company paid for their rooms. So Andrew and Billy were in different rooms, but we were all partying in Andrew's room that he shared with Ricky. I got a little too drunk and my friend put me to bed. She said that she was going to Billy's room and asked if it would be okay with Andrew if I said yes. Keep in mind, my friend didn't have a phone either, so we basically had no way of getting in contact with each other. Another stupid thing, I know. So I've been in bed for a while with Andrew, just talking and chilling when he says, I just gotta have to pop out real quick, I'll be right back. I assumed he meant just to go to the bathroom and not out of the actual hotel room. But he left the hotel room to get something from Billy's room. Anyways, I was just watching TV in the bed when the bedroom door opens, and I assumed it was Andrew, but my heart sank when it was Ricky, the weird colleague. He walked into the room and sat on the bed. Keep in mind, I'm very naked at this point, trying to cover myself with a blanket. He said, "Do you realize that everyone has left you alone in here, right? It's just you, all alone. No one's here. No one can hear you." And continued edging closer and closer to me on the bed. At this point, I was completely speechless and absolutely terrified. I was completely frozen in fear and had no idea what to do. I tried to say something, but nothing came out. He definitely sensed my fear, and for some reason, he just got up and left. A sense of relief flooded me, and I felt silly for overacting. That was until I heard JD, other random colleague, shouting, "Get the F back in there! What are you doing? This isn't what we discussed. Get the fuck in there and do what you're meant to do. Who gives a fuck about that whore? Just get back in there now and do what you need to do." I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in because I was so scared, but there was no way out, and the only way out of the hotel room was through the front door, and I had to walk past Ricky and JD to get there. I was so terrified, I had millions of thoughts rushing through my head, and I had no idea what to do, but I knew I had to escape. I decided my only option was to leave the room and be ready to defend myself if things were to go pear-shaped. I threw my clothes on and grabbed my shoes, and I opened the door, and Ricky and JD were sitting on the couch close to the bedroom door. JD said, "Hey sexy, where are you going in such a rush? Come and join us, come here right now." I said, "No thanks," and I ran to the front door and ripped it open. When I got out, I was so relieved, but I was still in a random hotel in a random city, with no way to contact my friend. But I thought my best option was to get to the lobby and just wait. As I was walking, I heard two men yelling from down the hall. "Where are you? We know you aren't going too far away from us. Come back and join us. You know you want to." It was Ricky and JD. I was absolutely fucking terrified by this point. I began sprinting to the elevator. I could hear them gaining on me. I never knew I could run so fast, but I just continued and I didn't look back. I felt like I was running forever until I reached the end of the corridor, and my worst nightmare had come true. I missed the turn-off of the elevator. So I had to turn and run back towards where I could hear Ricky and JD still yelling down the hallway. I found the elevator and I got in. I could hear the voices getting louder and louder, and I didn't want to imagine what would have happened if they got into the elevator with me. The door finally closed after what felt like a lifetime. I thought I would go down to the lobby and just wait there because at least there would be people, so there would be some form of safety. I got to the lobby and realized that there was no one in sight. No one at all, even behind the desk. I sat on a couch and I don't know what to do with myself, and I was just absolutely terrified that Ricky and JD would come to the lobby. Then I heard the elevator ding and the door open. My heart dropped. But it was Andrew. I told him what had happened and he was outraged that his colleagues did that, and he took me to where my best friend was. Everything turned out fine, but it could have been a lot worse. So, Ricky and JD, let's never meet again. I grew up in Texas. I still live here along with my family that will be mentioned in this story. When the 2007 recession hit, my father lost his job. It was a management job that paid well. We lived in a comfortable but slightly country area outside of Lockhart, Texas. With our income at a halt, we'd lost our home and had to move. My parents found a trailer park with a 2-bedroom for rent. A little cramped for our family of 5, but we had no other choice. The man we rented from was crooked, but for other reasons. But he's not the disturbed landlord the story revolves around. We lived in that trailer for a few years before needing to move out for other reasons. I was too young to remember. I was 11 years old when my parents began house hunting again. Down the road from the trailer park was a cul-de-sac of land. There was a business in the center of the land called the Why Not Party House. That was a bar and a wannabe club, I suppose. Considering I was a child, I never entered that building. There were a few houses and trailers scattered around different parts in this secluded circle. A worn-looking trailer was for rent, and the man renting it, Mr. Dahl, was an elderly man who couldn't have been younger than 65 or so. A few things to note about this trailer: it had some old stone steps leading up to the front door. There was a bunk bed in one of the rooms and a somewhat functioning air hockey table. The master bedroom had a queen-size bed, and there was a carpet in the kitchen, which I always found strange. The back door was nailed shut and completely unusable, if that wasn't enough to make you say nope. Then let me also say it had a mice problem. My family is a working class, my mother's disabled, and with my father out of work, we only relied on her disability check. We had no other choice to rent out this trailer or be homeless. The entire deal was strange and honestly sad. This was the position we were in. But my parents rented out this trailer on the agreement of words only. There was no official lease that was signed, or any sort of legal documents that prove we were renting from this man. Before we moved into the trailer, Mr. Dahl took it upon himself to build a new deck for us to replace the old steps. He even built a little picnic table for us to sit around. And as a child, it completely blew my mind the stranger could be so kind to craft these things without being asked or wanting money. It seemed like an act of pure kindness. A bad person wouldn't do that sort of thing, right? The first few weeks of renting from him went by without a hitch. The master bedroom had no light bulbs, and we weren't there long enough to change them. So my family and I all slept in the living room. Something about that bedroom with a bunk bed seemed scary to me. I'm unsure how my brothers felt, but they never slept in there either. As I mentioned previously, we relied on my mother's disability. Sometimes we were late on rent and had to pay late fees. Other than that, Mr. Dahl would be very understanding about everything, despite being a little irritated. My mother's check hit every first of the month, which is also the month for bills. Her, my father, and my older brother got into the car and drove into the city to take care of bills and to get a money order for rent. I was left with my oldest brother. It was a time when we had no internet or cable, just VHS movies. I was in the hallway. Come to find out, the trailer was flipped, and the front door was the one nailed shut. Playing my Wii, and if you're curious, it was Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess to be exact. Something I need you all to note. We had no keys to this trailer. The only person with a set of keys was Mr. Dahl, so we were unable to ever lock the trailer when we left. As I was playing my game, right in front of the door that was locked, I saw the knob turn. No knocking, the knob jiggle, and our landlord tried to pry the door open twice, but was unable to do so successfully. I just froze and realized it was him, and he must have assumed that no one was home because our car was gone. But the door was locked, and I thought I was fine to continue playing my game. 11-year-old brain. My brother's in the living room, and we both heard this noise. At first, I thought it was a dog barking, and my brother heard it too. But the longer we listened, we realized it wasn't an animal, but the sound of people yelling. My brother went to the front door to investigate the noises, and me being a scared child, I followed right behind him. Both of my parents were standing out in the front yard. My mother was shouting at our landlord, who was sitting on a farming vehicle. Not sure what the name of it was. I remember it had a very long piece attached to it. She was visibly angry, and her voice was laced with rage. My father was yelling at him too, but I don't remember anything that was said exactly. My oldest brother asked what had happened, and here's how it goes. My parents pulled up to our trailer with their money order for rent. When they did, they caught Mr. Dahl backing up the farming vehicle against the door, the only exit in the trailer. My mother went into full protection mode, knowing her 2 children were stuck inside. She confronted him immediately. Luckily, he backed away from the door, but he was still operating his farm vehicle. I believe she threatened him, and they had an exchange of words. And he whipped the vehicle around fast and aggressively close to my mother, that he almost hit her with it. My parents were bewildered about what they had just witnessed. They didn't know what to do, and they called the police. When the police showed up, my parents explained the situation. It was no use because we had no legal agreement of renting out the trailer. The officer shrugged it off and said there was nothing they could do about anything, because no one was injured. Apparently, trapping 2 children inside of a trailer that's a fire hazard isn't illegal. We only spent one last night in that trailer. We no longer felt safe there, and we packed up as many things as we could in our car that we could. But unfortunately, we didn't have the money to rent a moving truck for the rest of our furniture. We stored the belongings we took with us at my grandparents' house, and we rented a motel room. It was about a week later after this happened when we tried going back for the rest of our belongings. We wanted no confrontation with Mr. Dahl, so we showed up to the trailer at night. It was dark inside and the porch light was off. My father and oldest brother went inside the trailer casually. Me and my mother and my older brother were waiting in the car. It was no less than 5 minutes when my father and oldest brother ran out of the trailer with speed I've never seen before. They hopped into the car and pulled out like there was a scene in an action movie while my mom was terrified and demanding answers. Apparently, they walked into the master bedroom first, which was an immediate right when you walk inside. They were going to grab a box of paperwork we had left behind when they left. They noticed something lying in the bed. Not just lying there asleep, but completely naked. It was Mr. Dahl, and right beside him was a gun. We never went back to that trailer. We never recovered the rest of our furniture that had sentimental value from family members, living and deceased. It's been almost a decade since that happened. My mother and I discuss it every now and then, but we're thankful that the time is behind us. I can't help but wonder if all that abandoned furniture was the result of some other unfortunate family who had to leave everything else behind, or had it been taken from them forcefully.
Hey friends, thanks for checking out today's video. If you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified when I drop a new video or stream. If you guys want some more behind the scenes action, make sure to follow me on my social medias. Links to these will be provided in the description, including my public Discord. Also, if you would like to support me and the channel, please consider becoming a channel member or Patreon, where $1 a month gets you early access to all my videos. With all that being said, I want to thank you again, and remember to keep it spooky.